December 8th on YouTube.
My case is simple. I contend that the election conducted on 11/3 was unlawful and unconstitutional because the absentee ballots procedure was a procedure that was set out in a backroom deal between the Secretary of State and the law firm of Perkins Coie and the Democratic Party. Perkins Coie is Hillary Clinton's law firm. They cut a deal in May of 2020, March, and they changed dramatically the absentee mail ballot procedure. The law is clear that a change like that can only be made lawfully by the Georgia legislature. They did it in the dead of night in a back room. Many legislators were not even aware of that deal. I found out about it within 2 or 3 days of the election. I saw that it was obviously a procedure set up for fraud. So I filed my lawsuit contending that the election is unlawful and unconstitutional.
And what kind of remedy would you seek, sir?
Well, it violated my equal protection rights as a voter. They set up a different procedure, easier for absentee ballots, harder for people like me that voted in person, and it diluted my vote, very similar to the lawsuit filed by the state of Texas. The remedy is simply to declare the law that the election was unlawful. Then the Georgia legislature has got to take action. Our governor here is corrupt. He refuses to call a special session, but when the court rules, if it does, that the election was unlawful, then he's got to call a special session in order to not disenfranchise the entire voting population of the state of Georgia.
Okay, and this... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just still hung up on the law firm that you mentioned because they specifically were involved in compiling the dossier against President Trump. And so now you're saying they're involved in changing the ballots, the absentee ballots specifically in Georgia?
Absolutely. Perkins Coie was one of the law firms that cut the deal with the Secretary of State. Perkins Coie has got its fingerprints all over every piece of litigation in this country where they are consistently urging that the courts not allow the citizens of this country to review and analyze forensically the voting machines or the actual absentee ballots. If there's nothing to hide, why are they hiding? I think there's a lot to hide. It's coming out one way or the other. Every lie will be revealed. Perkins Coie is right there in the thick of this dirty election, and I think they ought to be held accountable too.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Lynn Wood joining.
Perkins Coie, Hillary Clinton's lawyers. Sounds fishy.